Yeah, welcome guys. Welcome back to the Truthful African Child. Okay, I think this song should sound familiar to many people. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds. Did you get that? That was the song, or that is the song of the late legendary reggae musician Bob Marley. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. You can be free from the chains, physical chains, but you're not still free because of how you've placed your mind or how your mind has placed you. Most Africans don't even know their roots, they don't even know history. They just swallow things they read and things they hear. You know, they've been made to believe that without the West, that they are nothing, they are nobody, that during the last COVID pandemic, COVID-19, there was a statement made by one prominent person where he said Africans are just they are only known to consume. They are not productive. Who told you that? Who told you guys this? It's all lies. Africans are one of the most productive people you ever come across. We are highly productive before these guys infiltrated our continent and started planting seed of discord, seed of bitterness, building boundaries within every inch. When the Berlin conference was held, where they were sharing and splitting Africa within themselves, was any African available in that participating in that meeting? No. So when they came, they were surprised. Maybe before they actually came to Africa, I don't know what they knew within themselves. Maybe they thought they were coming to a place where people lived on trees. But when they arrived here, they were surprised. We had civilizations that were even way far ahead than most European countries. Yeah, we had Africa. Majority of Africans, the African countries, had far civilization. They've gone far. But what these guys did was they came and they took us like 200, 300, 500 years backwards. And now they are coming to tell you that they sold civilization to us. That's a big lie. Don't believe that. Don't believe that. Don't believe that. Africa gave birth to the rest of the world. Africa is the one continent where you get the highest mineral resources anywhere in this planet. You can go and ask why there is still conflict in DR Congo. Africa is so blessed. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. And the problem is we've had leaders. Don't let them tell you our leaders are all totally corrupt. No. These same people are still the ones planting that seed of corruption, luring our leaders, making them gluttony, making them the liver twist they've become. Any righteous person, any messiah that arises from Africa is cut down. Where is Gaddafi? Where is the army of Uganda? Where is Mugabe? Some people will argue that Mugabe passed on as a result of old age, but that's not totally true. After Mugabe's confrontation with the United States of America's president, that is Donald Trump, during his first tenure in the UN, United Nations, he had Mugabe was going to confront this man head on. He doesn't look at you. He doesn't want to know who you are, who you think you are. He will tell you the truth, undiluted. He did that, and what happened next? Disabling that game of power change in his country. Oh, Mugabe, he has held on to power for so long. Sometimes you need to ask yourself the reason. Why is it that these African leaders choose to hold power for that long? They are not power drunk. Most of the African leaders have held power for long, saw something that this country is not ripe enough for it to be democratic. The moment I leave my grip on what I'm holding on, these vampires will infiltrate. This new guy now that you guys think you can vote in don't know what is actually playing out. He'll be used. He'll be used. What was the battle of Mugabe against the rest of the world, the West? You come to a person's country and you are telling the country that 90% of the land is owned by foreigners. Who does that? That is the same thing Julius Malema is trying to fight in South Africa. And people are the mainstream media is trying to paint him as a monster. You guys don't get it. You guys don't get it. Africa has no friend. Africa has no friends. You guys don't get it. You go to the EU, they are fully independent. They call it European Union. But you now come to the AU, African Union, and these people will infiltrate and start having control in the sales and the rules that take place, that happen in African Union. You think these guys like you? They don't like you. Africa, you need to fend for yourself. Nobody is coming to save you. There is no Messiah anywhere coming from the sky with horses and riding with chariot of fire coming to save you. Those things are all hula hoo. They are fairy tales. You need to save yourself. Emancipate yourself. You need to save yourself. Save yourself. Save yourself so that your children's children won't be running around the way you are running around now. Everybody's migrating. The whole of Africa has almost migrated to the West. You are migrating to the West to now do jobs that on a good day, all things being equal, a normal Africa wouldn't be doing such jobs. But now you are going there to now beg. In fact, what's the difference between slavery and now? The difference is that then they came and bundled you guys in chains, and took you guys there to do that job. Now they've improvised, they've made Africa so poor that you guys now are the ones now begging for the slavery to now go and do worse jobs. You now go there to do worse jobs. You do all manner of inhuman jobs just so you can send money to some members of your family back in Africa and, so they can be alive. How did it all start? I come to your home, I set it on fire, render you homeless, then you're now coming to beg me for tenancy to live in my place, to work so that you're able to pay rent. That's what's playing out. Don't be guys shoot me food. Africa needs to emancipate herself. She has been held down for too long. And they'll come, they are changing things, they're trying to change history, they're trying to change narratives, they're trying to change stories. They will come with all manner of stories. This. It doesn't, nothing is real. The only real thing is the one that actually happened. Nothing is real. They took away everything. Took away your way of life, your culture, your religion. Let me tell you guys a story. In my village, and I'm talking about 3,000, 4,000 years ago. I'm not talking about the story you'll be given in a book where they will tell you the children of Israel. I tell you stories about their ancestors. I'm not telling the story of my own ancestors 5,000 years ago. Then, when you go to a marketplace, let's assume a nursing mother has her wares in the market. She's selling stuff, from her farmland. And she needs to tend to her children in the house. When she's going back home to do what, maybe tend to the children and fix 1 or 2 meals for the family, she will use stones and represent the price of each commodity in the market. Then then she leaves. Then whenever a customer comes, he meets an empty place, empty of the seller, but the wares are there, the products are there. So from the stones, he knows how much whatever thing costs. And what he does is he pays according to the stones, and takes the measurement or how many pieces, according to what he paid, and leaves. There was like 0.000111% of criminals, of thieves, because we had everything. Why would you steal? When these guys came to Africa, like, wow, how does this system work for so long? They started polluting our people with materialism. It started by trade by barter. They came with flashy things, like things that were not in Africa then. They were exchanging it for ivory and Sometimes materialism, some gifts that are alien to you, bring about that spirit of gluttony, that urge of never being satisfied, because you've started seeing glitters. That is one of the things that started the mind pollution of Africans. Then what would you want to steal? Would you want to go and steal a cassava or corn or millet that is already in your own? In fact, the farms that grow such products were like uncountable. So a thief would be like, let me lose something in my life instead of. But now things, they were shiny, things that were alien to what we actually had, we are not coming in. So people started thinking outside their normal sense of, let me become, then people are not really ambitious like that. They were just content with, okay, feeding my family and living well. They didn't want to be the rich. They didn't want to be Elon Musk or Bill Gates. They were not interested in such kind of life. But these things came, and Africa is where it is today. But now we are now saying, okay, we want to repair the country, we want to repair the continent. Leave us alone. You've done well for over hundreds of years. You guys should hands off. Let's take over from where you guys stopped. But no, they don't want, because of what they are getting, the resources. They don't want to hands off Africa. They want to keep exploiting. Go to DR Congo. They call bats. They keep taking it. Keep taking. Ghana is empty of gold. They've packed, looted everything. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. Alright, this video is getting longer than I thought. We'll continue in next video. Take care.